In the blazing heart of the Wild West, where dust rose with every hoofbeat and stories of courage drifted, across the plains like desert wind, lived a young woman named Mara, the girl everyone whispered about but no one ever dared to defend. Mara had been born into the Stone Creek tribe, a community known for its proud warriors and striking beauty. Yet she was treated differently from the moment she took her first breath. Her features were not what her people considered beautiful. Her jaw was sharper than the tribal ideal, her eyes deep-set and intense, and a childhood injury had left a faint scar across her cheek. For years, her relatives told her she was a burden, a bad omen, a reminder of everything imperfect in their otherwise flawless traditions. Children teased her, elders ignored her, and even her own parents avoided meeting her eyes as if shame could be contagious. She learned early that silence was her only shield, and loneliness her only companion. She grew up carving wooden beads, tending to horses, and doing chores no one wanted to do, all while pretending it didn't hurt to be rejected by the ones who were meant to love her. Then one scorching afternoon, everything changed. The tribe had gathered near the river for the annual trade with the Cowboys, a yacht meeting filled with tension, suspicion, and long histories of broken agreements. Among the Cowboys, one man stood out, a tall, rugged stranger named Colt Maddox, known across counties for his sharp aim, sharper tongue, and a reputation that echoed like thunder before a storm. He wore a dusty hat tilted low, a holster that whispered danger, and eyes that seemed to read people like open books. While the tribe and the Cowboys negotiated livestock and leather, Colt's gaze drifted to the shadows where Mara stood alone, carrying baskets far heavier than anyone should. She never looked up, never paused, never spoke. Something about her quiet struggle caught his attention, a kind of unspoken strength only a man who'd lived through storms recognized. The tribe murmured angrily as Mara's father shouted, "She is no daughter of mine." But this time the cruelty didn't cut her as deeply. She felt the invisible chain around her heart snap. Colt tilted his hat and said, "Then she rides with me." And without another word, he guided her toward his horse. The tribe didn't stop him. They couldn't. Mara climbed onto the horse behind Colt, hands shaking as she held onto him. For the first time, she wasn't invisible. As they rode away, the wind lifted her braids. The river glimmered behind them, and something new, something terrifying and wonderful, ignited in her chest. Hope. And so began the story of a woman thrown away by everyone she knew, until a cowboy with a fire-touched soul looked past her scars and saw her worth. Riding away from Stone Creek felt like crossing into another lifetime for Mara. The rhythmic gallop of Colt's horse echoed beneath her, each stride taking her farther from the people who had rejected her since birth. At first, she kept waiting for Colt to push her away too, for the kindness to fade, for him to see what her family saw and regret his bold declaration. But Colt Maddox was not a man of empty gestures. He rode with steady confidence, shoulders broad and sure, as though carrying another soul behind him was nothing unusual. When they reached his small ranch nestled against the golden hills of Lone Mesa, he helped her off the saddle gently, as if she were made of something precious, not fragile. The ranch was humble, a wooden cabin, a barn, a corral full of paint horses, but to Mara, it looked like freedom carved into the earth. She hesitated at the doorway, unsure if she truly belonged there. Colt noticed. "You're safe here," he said, pushing the creaking door open. "Ain't nobody gonna treat you like they did back there." His voice held no pity, only truth. It disarmed her. Inside, he offered her food, water, clean clothes, but she struggled to accept any of it. "I don't understand you," she whispered finally, staring at the worn wooden floorboards. Colt leaned against the table, arms crossed. "What's there to understand?" She swallowed hard. "Why would you claim me, defend me? You don't even know me." Colt shrugged. "Didn't need to. I saw enough." His answer shook her in ways she couldn't express. No one had ever seen her before. That night, Mara slept on a real bed for the first time in years. She cried quietly into the pillow, not from sadness, but because kindness felt so foreign it hurt. Days turned to weeks. Colt taught her how to tend horses properly, not just the grunt chores she had done at the tribe. He taught her how to shoot, how to ride fast, how to track coyotes in the dust. Mara proved fast, sharp, intuitive. She learned quickly that her supposed ugliness had nothing to do with her worth. Colt praised her strength, her mind, her courage. Every time he said something kind, she felt her old wounds slowly stitch themselves shut. But the world outside didn't forget. Word spread quickly that the ugly outcast girl had been taken by a dangerous cowboy. Some mocked Colt, others said he'd lost his mind. And the Stone Creek tribe? They weren't pleased either. One morning, as Colt and Mara were repairing a fence, a group of armed men from her tribe appeared on the ridge. Their horses kicked dust into the sky as they descended like thunder. Mara's heart dropped. Colt stepped in front of her instinctively, hand at his holster. The chief's son, now smeared with pride and rage, pointed at Mara and shouted, "She belongs to us. Give her back." Mara's stomach twisted, not from fear of them taking her, but from the memory of how they'd treated her. Colt didn't move. "She ain't property," he growled. "She stays because she wants to stay. Try to take her and you'll regret it." Guns cocked, the air turned razor sharp. Mara trembled. She couldn't let Colt fight her battle alone. Summoning every ounce of courage he had awakened in her, she stepped out from behind him. "I'm not going back," she said, voice firm. "Not ever." The chief's son laughed cruelly. "You choose him? A cowboy, a stranger? Over your tribe?" Mara's voice did not waver. "I choose anyone who sees me as human." The men snarled and charged forward. But Colt drew faster. Faster than any man in the West. His warning shot hit the dust at the lead rider's hooves, forcing the group to recoil. "Next one," he warned, "won't hit dirt." The warriors exchanged looks. The chief's son cursed but pulled his reins. "She's dead to us," he spat. Mara felt something inside her finally break free. Not pain, but liberation. As the riders galloped away, she exhaled shakily. Colt placed his hand over hers. "You did good," he whispered. Mara looked up at him, tears filling her eyes. "I wasn't strong alone," she said. "I never was. You gave me strength." Colt brushed a tear from her cheek with a gentleness that made her heart tremble. "No, Mara, strength was always in you. I just helped you see it." Life after that confrontation changed everything. Mara grew confident. She smiled more. She spoke more. She started crafting jewelry, saddles, even artwork, things she had talent for but was never encouraged to pursue. Colt watched her transformation with quiet admiration. Slowly, people in the nearby towns began to notice her, not for her scars or her unusual features, but for her kindness, skill, and the undeniable fire in her spirit. Some even whispered she was beautiful in her own striking, unconventional way, and Colt, he saw it long before anyone else. As seasons passed, the connection between them deepened, built not on desperation, but on respect, growth, and the rare warmth of two souls finding home in each other. One evening, as the sky burned orange and purple, Colt stood with Mara by the corral. "Mara," he said softly, "you know you don't owe me anything." She smiled, placing her hand on his chest. "Maybe not, but I choose you, just like you chose me." Colt looked at her with that steady, grounding gaze that once saved her. "Then stay," he whispered. "Not because you need a place, but because you want a life with me." Mara's breath caught. After everything she had endured, rejection, humiliation, loneliness, she finally felt worthy. Loved, wanted. "I stay," she whispered. "For life." And when Colt pulled her into his embrace, the last pieces of her broken past finally fell away. Mara, the girl once cast aside, became the heart of Lone Mesa, and Colt, the man who saw her worth when no one else did, became her partner. In every storm and sunrise, their story spread across the frontier like wildfire, not because it was dramatic, but because it proved a simple truth. Beauty is not in faces, it's in souls brave enough to love.